Frederick and Kroganar kept talking the night away, switching from one topic to another, doing increasingly impressive mental gymnastics as time moved on and tiredness took its toll. After what felt like many hours of talking, the old warrior finally gave him the go-ahead to get some much-needed shut-eye, telling him he has got him covered and that he looks half dead. He didn't have to tell him twice. Frederick quickly fell asleep, listening to the sounds of the wind shaking the scrap loader, as small chunks of ice and rocks pelt the hull. The sounds remind him of home. He would never openly admit it, but after talking about Earth, humanity and life in general back in Seoul, he got a bit homesick. This is the biggest adventure of his life, filled with fantastic people that he considers himself lucky to have met, and things he could only have dreamed of. But that longing deep down in the innermost parts of himself yearns for comfort, for something familiar in this sea of strangers, and even stranger things. Everything out here, literally everything, is just so alien. At times, something manages to feel similar enough to get into the uncanny valley, each time hitting home that this place is not Earth. At those times, he realizes just how lost he is out here. He doesn't even know the name of this system yet, let alone the name of whatever space government it belongs to. But these concerns are those of awake Frederick. Sleeping Frederick is enjoying his stay in the fantastical and often strange realm of dreams. Until a clawed hand gently shakes him awake, that is. "Frederick?" Kroganar asks him, trying to gauge if his human compatriot is awake yet. Yeah?" He manages to blub, barely conscious as he leans forward in his seat. He rubs the sleep from his eyes and does a big stretch, groaning satisfied through the whole thing. "How long was the sleep?" he groggily inquires, about halfway booted up again. "Around 1.34 hours. Why?" Kroganar replies, a bit confused. "Feels like a lot more," Frederick yawns. "So, what is upside?" "First of all, I want to apologize for waking you so soon, but it looks like the storm has already passed. We were only at the edge, it seems." "Oh, yeah, that's great." Frederick yawns again. "With fate having gifted us the opportunity to do so right now, I would very much prefer to go home and rest in an actual bed, instead of hunkering down like a shiny recruit out in the deserts." "Agree," Frederick nodded, putting his gloves back on. What I need do? Same as before?" he asks, ready to get out again. "Pretty much," Kroganar confirms. "Then let us go to working." He gets out of the cockpit, and the bitter cold air hits him like a brick. Already shivering, he starts to get the scrap loader ready to go again, glancing at the incredibly vibrant skies overhead between steps. He has never seen such a clear night sky in his life. Well, technically he did, but it's just not the same if you're looking out the window of your dinky little spacecraft, or from the inside of a stuffy service outpost on some god-forsaken planetoid. No, this is an honest-to-God, no life support or spacesuit needed, boots on the ground and cold air in the face night sky. On the outskirts of New Vienna, you're basically stuck with Polaris, Venus, and all the other super bright objects. But here, he can even see the Milky Way with the naked eye out here. Wait, he stops. He can see the Milky Way. Same galaxy, he realizes, having seen way too many images of it not to immediately recognize it. It's the same galaxy, he shouts triumphantly into the night as he falls to his knees, incredibly drowsy and just glad to have finally found at least a tiny sliver of information regarding his whereabouts. A very confused and also slightly worried Kroganar pokes his head around the corner. "Everything all right?" he inquires. Frederick stops, gleefully giggling, and gets back up, patting the snow from his knees. "I'm more than good," he happily informs his reptilian compatriot, pointing up at the sky with the biggest smile. "It's same galaxy." "Oh, good for you." "Yup." Frederick wholeheartedly agrees. A good while later, they arrive back at the surface access to the warehouse. They take the not-so-confidence-inspiring cargo elevator once more, and Kroganar finally shuts down the scraploader's roaring engines, letting the room fall into complete, blissful silence. "So happy to be back," Frederick exclaims as he slams the door shut. "It was the right choice to wake you then," Kroganar jabs, trying his best to sound playful. Frederick gasps in shock. "No way. Joke?" he asks in utter disbelief. "I might have picked up something here or there tonight," Kroganar responds, baring his teeth. "Oh no, please not do that." Frederick quickly stops him. "Oh? Was that too much?" Frederick's horrified expression is the only answer he needs. "I shall not do that again, then." No, please, feel unhindered to do so." "Frederick, you clearly were terrified of me just now. Why should I do it again?" "You know," Frederick tries. "I know what. You do whatever want. I'm happy that you try and make human gesture," he bashfully responds. "You really are a strange one," Kroganar side-eyes him. "The strange one," Frederick proudly corrects him. Kroganar shakes his head, laughing through a sigh. "You sure are." He locks the scraploader and gestures Frederick to wait for him at the exit. "We can take care of our ill-gotten gains tomorrow. Just wait for me for a moment. I will not take long." "All right." Frederick saunters over to the door and leans against the wall as he waits for him, taking in the atmosphere for a bit. He is dead tired after having been up for more than an Earth day, and has to make a conscious effort not to fall asleep on the spot. Thankfully, Kroganar only takes around a minute to join him, and the two finally leave the warehouse, making their way back home. "I guess I found my answer today." Kroganar suddenly breaks the silence. "Really?" Frederick eagerly asks him, quickening his gait to catch up to him. "What is?" "On our way back, I kept thinking about what you told me, that dogs are humans' best friend story. It really stuck with me. And I think it helped me finding the answer to why you managed to bond with Luna. Humans are simply everyone's best friend." "Explain," Frederick tries. "The way you act, how you manage to make friends with almost everyone you meet. I do not think there is another people in the galaxy that eager to make friends with everyone. And trust me, not many are as good at actually making friends." "But isn't that just normal? You meet new people, they seem nice enough, you get to know them a bit, talk about stuff, and poof, done. Friends acquired." "Really?" "Really," Kroganar nods. "You managed to get Dushavi to give you a nickname in less than a week, Softy. She really was spot on with that name," he rumbles. "Kari has also finally started to come out of her shell since you arrived, and Kesan actually has not complained about someone for the first time. Even I have to admit that I might have grown a little fond of your presence." "Oh man." Frederick tears up a little. "Thank you." "No problem." Kroganar bumps him against the arm. "And while we are still on topic..." "Yeah?" "I am speaking only for myself, of course. The others will have a say in this as well. But I want to ask you something, Frederick. Do you want to join our little troop?" "Join, as in become part of?" He beams. "Exactly that." Frederick is about to shout yes when Kroganar stops him. "You should take the night to think it over." "I doubt I changed mine overnight, but it's alright. Can see reason behind." "I am eager to hear your response then." "Kroganar?" "Yes?" "Why Softy? I think I understand soft skin and heart, but why soft bone of back?" "It is a compliment. We have a tale we tell our hatchlings. It is about two men taking on the weight of the world. One of them has the hardest of scales, the hardest of muscles, and the hardest of spines. The other is the complete opposite. He has the softest scales, softest muscles, and the softest of spines. The first one manages to carry the world on his shoulders, for he is the hardest man of all. He eventually trips on a rock and shatters upon impact, breaking into thousands of pieces. Kroganar unceremoniously adds. The second one struggles to carry the world on his back, for he is the softest man of all. But after a lot of struggling, he too manages to move the world, but he rolls it instead. As he trips on the same stone as the one before him, he simply gets up and carries on with his task, undeterred by the tiny hindrance. For the hardest of things shatter, while those more malleable manage to adapt, they told us. To be soft-spine means to be adaptable, to always bounce back from setbacks and to think outside the box. It is held as a virtue. Wow. Lot to take in, Frederick sighs. Thanks for telling me. Gladly. They made their way back to the Kirkir in relative silence after that, passing a few nocturnal denizens on the way. When they finally arrive, Kroganar unlocks the door and gently closes the door behind them, trying not to make too much noise. Good night, Frederick. I am eager to hear your response tomorrow. Rest well. You too, Frederick nods. He sneaks back to his room and carefully opens the door. Having trouble seeing without turning the lights on, he just stands there in the half-open door, waiting for his eyes to get used to the darkness. After waiting for a few moments, he can finally make out general shapes, and slinks back over to his bed, only to stop in front of it. Ah, man, that's just way too adorable, he coos. Lying curled up in his bed lies Luna, nuzzling Kari's hand. The Karoan seems to have fallen asleep, kneeling next to the bed as she comforted the young beast, and is making the cutest little snores as she lies half leaning on the edge of the bed. The sight of them like this fills him with a warmth he hasn't felt in a long time. What I'd give for a camera right now. He grabs a thin blanket from a drawer and gently drapes it over them, trying his best not to make a single sound, moving like a true blanket ninja. He can feel Luna shifting ever so slightly underneath him during the finishing touches. She groggily grumbles. Hey there, Bubs. I'm back, he softly whispers. She licks his nose. Love you too, sweetie. Now go back to sleep. He gives her a quick peck on the forehead and a scritch behind the ear, before he slinks back out of the room, looking back one last time. Sleep tight, he whispers into the room.